Well, I mean, every show is special, but this one is super special for me because I get to talk to somebody who I've been a big fan of for almost 5 years now, I guess.
Yeah, 5 years at the
And
radio.
someone who I think is directly responsible for anybody that actually listens to my show on the radio because they tune in for Mr. Nature at 7 and then they stay with DJ Bank because they can't get off the couch with the RVzing.
No.
And by that point, they're like, okay, I'm calm and mellow. I'm just so relaxed. I might as well just sit here and listen to Tom talk for a half hour.
Right.
So,
Well, you've got a great voice, so it complements everything well.
well, people might not know this, but I'm with Anthony Aldinger.
Aldinger, yeah.
Aldinger. But everybody in Tucson knows you as Mr. Nature.
That's right. Yeah, that's me.
I can't believe you joined Downtown Radio 5 years ago.
5 years ago, yeah, 2000, yeah. Or 2020.
Yeah, 2020. And we were just talking, January 2020, you joined the radio, and then March of 2020, we shut everything down.
Welcome. Shut down, yeah, like, here you go. But I think I only missed one episode during that period, so we learned how to broadcast remotely.
I will tell you that the volunteer nature of volunteer radio is something very interesting to me, and the amount of time and energy that people will spend to make that happen, because there are a lot of brain power going into, well,
oh my gosh,
how do we do this? Because we can't bring everybody into the studio.
Right.
We can't talk on these mics. Like, how do we do it? And someone had this crazy idea of Zooming and or not Zooming, but Skyping in and all of that. And we're still using it today.
Right. Yeah. I haven't gone back to the studio.
Anyway, well, let's talk a little bit. So give us just a brief overview of Little Leaf Radio, which is 7 to 9 on Sundays. Give us a little taste of what you do on that.
So Little Leaf Radio is just, it started out as a mistake. It wasn't supposed to happen. I just mentioned it to a friend of ours that worked at the radio, and she was like, oh, you got to talk to Bill. And I went down, and Bill was like, let's do this. And I'd not really done anything in radio before, little things, but like nothing like this. And so I learned how to like kind of put a playlist together and figure out like my whole point was like for everyone to be a part of the jam, right? Like, so mom and dad would wake up and want to sing and dance too, right? It wasn't some like dinky like, chimey kid song. It was family fun. And so that's where it came from. And every episode I've learned more and more, and I'm gaining more knowledge of like, music, and it's just been a treat to be able to wake up and rise up with the Little Leafs and their families every Sunday.
I mean, you don't miss very many Sundays. You're out there every Sunday, and how much time does it take to prepare a show like that?
Well, it's interesting because like there's been an evolution.
Yeah.
Like at first it was like I had to put aside 4 hours, right? Like I would scribble on paper, like, I'm going to take a break at 2, this exact minute, and now it's just I build these playlists, and I'm so attuned to the thing. So it takes me like maybe an hour and a half to like get my show ready, and sometimes a little longer depending if it's themed or something like that. But yeah, and now I have a plethora of like playlists of shows I've had in the past, so I can go to those for reference and remember artists that I might have forgotten and feature again. And so it's great, and it keeps me in this this nice pool of just really uplifting, positive, and important music. Not everything in peace is sunshine and flowers. Sometimes peace can be difficult, and I know a lot of my Little Leafs have experienced difficult in their life, and I try to talk to that too.
Sure.
In the most positive way that I can, usually through Bob Marley's words.
It's interesting to me what then sort of falls into that category of family music, because there's songs that you might listen to in one setting that you think is much more of an adult themed song, but then when you listen to it in context with your playlist, you're like, no, this really is a universal theme.
For sure.
And I appreciate the thoughtfulness of way you create the playlist.
For sure. I'm grateful to my mother and father, for sure. My mother really was inspiring in my music uprising, and so I want to be able to give that back to my children, and now I get to give it back to many children, and just the importance of some of these individuals that came up before us, and had some powerful messages and just quality songs.
Well, so it's Little Leaf Radio. It's 7 to 9 on Sundays, and I got to make sure I get all this alliteration right because you started this. But is there a particular place where we can listen to the plethora of playlists?
Oh yeah, so the plethora of playlists. So it's on Spotify. It's under Mr. Nature. this is a part of the learning. I have 3 different accounts. I have a Mr. Nature's Music Garden, a Mr. Nature, and then me. I think it might just be Anthony Aldinger, but it's Mr. Nature too, and it has all the radio playlists and things like that.
So which one do we go to?
I think the user Anthony Aldinger maybe is the one you would find all those playlists to. That's a really good question. Maybe I need to do some organizing there.
Well, and then I guess when you joined the radio, they said, "Oh, Mr. Nature's going to do a show on Sunday," and everyone. This is when we were still doing in-person meetings. Mm-hmm. Everyone was super excited, and I'm thinking, I don't know who Mr. I was not expecting what you brought to the show. I was expecting like an environmental show or something. But how does like, not that I guess it is an environmental show in a lot of ways, but how does Mr. Nature? Where does this persona come from? You've been presenting as Mr. Nature for a while.
Well, Nature, the moniker Nature has followed me since I was a little boy. I've just been out in the outdoors, pockets full of lizards my whole life. It's just been my thing, and it really is just kind of followed me throughout my time. I've had I worked in the mountains up at the local resort we have here. And that's where it really kind of fell in. One of the characters up there just was like, this nature boy, and so it just kind of stuck with me. And then through all my work, it's just kind of been there. And it was Nature and my other employers that I worked at, and then I just, like I said, flowing with it, I just use it to create something else from it. So
was there an experience where they said Nature Boy and you're like, no, it's Mr. Nature?
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. So when I was at Bookmans, that's one of the places I worked for years, and I kind of developed, they asked me, they recognized kind of my skill set right off the bat. And they asked me to create some programs for kids. And I created the music with Nature. Okay. And so it was once a week music class where everyone just kind of came, we sang, we danced, we played, we had fun. And then the last day of the month that we did it on, everyone brought recycled stuff in and we made recycled instruments. Fun. So it had this, and of course all the music was very nature-esque and recycling and just the importance of the bees and the trees and those types of things. So, yeah.
Is that where Mr. Nature's Music Garden kind of started?
So that's where it kind of began at Bookmans. And then I left. The city recruited me and I went through the process of becoming a city employee and providing the same programming. And then from there, I just kind of had this pool to just do my own thing. So I didn't tell anyone in my family or anyone at work. I just kind of followed this vibe, and I went to the city office and I got a license and an LLC. And the lady who was helping me across the way was like, "What is the name of your business?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Nature's Kitchen." Like, I'm cooking up all kinds of cool stuff in the kitchen. I knew I liked music and people responded to me in that way. And I had a wagon of instruments. This seemed to be the thing. I'm like, I really had no idea what I was doing. And so when I went in, this lady was like, no, don't make it a kitchen. It'll people think of food. Uh-huh. And she's like, "What about a garden?" And I was like, "A garden? That's kind of cool. Like, you're growing things in the garden." And so just kind of like Mr. Nature's Music Garden just kind of came out of the air from, help with this individual helping me get my license. And so it all launched from there.
It seems before we got on the air, you used the term flowist, and it seems like that. I understand that your life is sort of, I don't know if life has put you in those positions or if you just recognize those positions when you're put in them, but there's a lot of things that have kind of moved you forward along this path.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm recognizing in my 28th year that just
celebrated your 28th birthday, right?
Yeah, right. Celebrated my 28th birthday. Yeah. So I'm kind of recognizing that I'm better understanding life is happening for me. It's not happening to me. And even the bad things that are happening, there's so much depth in those lessons that are learned in those hard times. But like, I've just kind of accepted, like, this is how grateful. I just walk in gratitude and then wonderful people like you go, "Hey, you want to come in and talk?" And I'm like, "All right, let's go."
Just to be clear, so Little Leaf Radio, this is a show where you program music for families, and it's an early morning Sunday show. But
That's
Mr. Nature's Music Garden, you're performing, you're out playing
my business,
in original music, and
so it's a lot of things. So I do. I work in schools. I provide music therapy in hospitals. I provide music lessons, private music lessons. It's a plethora of different things, and then yes, then there's live performances. I perform at the zoo and downtown. I'm in talks with some different big theaters here in town that I'm hoping to perform at. So yeah, all
Teaser
over the
alert!
place.
Teaser
Yeah,
alert!
there we go.
There's the
Yeah,
showmanship in you. Like,
you know,
stay tuned.
something's coming. It's really exciting. But yeah. So my job, the foundation of my work is to provide children and their families with foundations for positive social interaction, and that's it. I just want to give people an opportunity. Like I played in grocery stores, which was really fun. Like that was one of the coolest gigs because the grocery store, you're in such a different mental space when you're going to get your groceries, right? It's like a chore. There's things going on. You've got lots. You got to get in here. Got to get your stuff. Got to go. And families would come and we'd hang out. And then I think my favorite part, people would walk in and they'd be jolted right into the present moment by all this ruckus that's taking place in the middle of the grocery store, and you see this full-on realization in people, like, wow, what is happening, and oh, what a nice day it is, and oh, this is great, and then they would flow in their world a little differently. And so I really appreciated those kind of moments, and still Little Leafs that came to see me 10 years ago are still in my life today.
That was going to be my question. You've been doing this for a while now. I mean, some of these Little Leafs probably have their own Leafs.
Oh my gosh. So I wouldn't go that far yet. I am only 28, but
28, but you have a
I do. I'm not 28. I'm much older than that. But I have a granddaughter myself.
Yes.
But there's a great, I call him the OG Little Leaf. His name is Adrian, and he's in a local band here called Zenora. And he used to come at me when he was 2 years old at Bookmans. And then him and his mother and I had a working relationship growing up. But he stuck around, him and his sister, and we played music together. And he grew up playing music with me. And then he joined the Mr. Nature band. And so he plays in the band with me. And now he's opening up for like ZZ Top and Alice Cooper and all these amazing. Yeah, he's just this incredible rock star now. So yeah, they're coming out. They're doing their own thing. I wouldn't say I had all the work in Adrian's uprising, but I
his
think
mom probably did a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sure some other beautiful people in his life helped in the molding of that young man. But yeah, Zenora, they're incredible local little rock band. Not little, I should say.
Yeah, but so shifting gears just a little bit. This has always intrigued me, and I find this question, it comes through my mind with people who have really built a personality, a lifestyle around. I don't want to say an image, but your brand is Mr. Nature. But where does Anthony fit into all this? Is there like a day where Anthony's just like hardcore Metallica, like getting out into the world? Or
oh, that's funny. Yeah. So my closest crew will know. Yeah. So Anthony makes an appearance here and there, and it's definitely like after birthday parties, things. I put on a great show. And we have a great time, and I really work to lift up the individuals I'm with. But yeah, there is a balancing ritual that has to take place, and there's definitely some heavier music that I use to therapeutically bring me back to the fact that I'm got to drive the truck and got to be a grown up.
I'm just curious. Everybody. I mean, Mr. Nature. That's even when we got on the show. I'm like, do I introduce you as Mr. Nature or Anthony?
Right. That's the biggest question, and I'm learning about who Anthony is. Like the work has always been Mr. Nature and providing the service that I provide, and things are at a place now where I'm like learning how to like reintroduce myself to myself and see who I am and what my interests are and like what I want to be and when I grow up, and
that's fantastic.
As well as doing the work that I'm doing now. So
you're reintroducing yourself to Anthony just as in the same way that you're teaching your Little Leafs to find themselves.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's a great circular type of situation I'm in, right? And the Little Leafs keep coming. They just keep coming.
Well, and this project is, as what happens when you dedicate so much time to something, is just expanding, because now you've got dedicated events. Like as we come into May, this is going to be airing on the first Sunday in May. So next week will be the first Saturday in May. And you have
this Saturday is still April, I think.
Well, we're going to air.
Oh, that's right. The next Saturday.
Yeah, we're time traveling here.
Yeah.
But anyway, you have an event with Second Saturdays, right?
So Second Saturdays, yeah, we take May off, classic, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, but is something put on by the Little Leaf Collective, something in a group, like individuals like me that do some work in the community, put together this group, the Little Leaf Collective AZ, and yeah, we provide these free events around town, and we've been blessed to have some really great friends that have opened up their facilities and allowed us to come in and provide these events. They're very resourceful and to children and their families. It's not like a craft show or anything like that. There are for-profit businesses, but there's a lot of nonprofit, just educational individuals in our community that come out just to provide information, on foster parenting or water capture or just ecological stuff or different things like that. And we feature different businesses and different cohorts in town that are just doing positive work and providing positive information and flow into our community.
Yeah, that's just amazing how this idea of a Bookmans, let's do a show for kids and talk about nature and recycled instruments. And,
yeah.
And when was that? Was that 2000?
So 2007 is when
wow.
that started. And so it's just been, and then I spent probably about 5 years there with Bookmans. It was an incredible, we'll call it the launching pad. I've always been growing and playing music in my own self, but that was an incredible trampoline of events that helped me launch this idea of and I didn't even know. Right, I just was showing up for work, doing this thing that I just did so easily. I didn't realize that it was going to turn into this philosophy of being, of just like, the Mr. Nature flow, I guess.
That's I was going to say. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's that flow.
Right.
And I'm almost approaching your 20-year anniversary, which is not bad for a 28-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this goes. As it seems like you've kind of reached that tipping point, and now you have, like, I think you're at another launch pad. Like it seems like there's something else that's going to be coming. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like there's. You've made it to this show.
Yeah,
once you make it here,
I feel like I'm there, man. I don't really have much more work to do. But that's interesting. So I'm not really seeking anything else.
You're never seeking anything. That's the problem. Like it's seeking you.
I feel like I'm there, and I've really achieved all the goals I want to. Like when I'm with the Little Leafs, and we have my only goal would be give them more, right? Provide them more, and so I'd love to build a community of young adults to come out and train them to go out and be this energy, to go out and do this work, and I know there's much better people than I that could provide these services and energies out there. So, and that's like kind of what I'm doing, I guess, is looking for those Little Leafs. Like Adrian would have been a great candidate, but he went and got
too famous.
Right? Yeah, I missed the window with him.
You've got to be good, but not that good.
Right.
Then you be part of Mr. Nature's clan.
So,
well, we can listen to Little Leaf Radio 7 to 9, and then stick around for DJ Bank, the musical bum, the art of easing, and then
and so this weekend we have Playpalooza, which is coming out. It's put on by Play District, and so that's a big
this weekend.
Deal.
So, like, what's the date?
So Saturday, the last Saturday in April.
Okay, so yesterday, basically when we air this, it was yesterday.
Yes, yesterday. So yesterday was a huge event. I hope you guys made it. Yeah.
Where else though can we find out about these events in the future? Do you have a website?
Yeah, MrNature'sMusicGarden.com. Mr. Nature, if you just Google Mr. Nature, you'll come up with all the social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook. I think that's all I'm doing right now. And then Spotify, there's the Little Leaf podcast.
Okay.
So that gets updated every once in a while, and there's some fun podcasts on there. And then, you can get all this information at MrNature'sMusicGarden.com. Sign up for the silly letter and get all the dates of events and all the good things.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing in the world.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking your time, and I appreciate you creating an audience to lead into my show every Sunday.
Yeah, you got it, man. Oh, that's my favorite part, brother. Thank you so much for having me today.